Alright, so we're back on Tier Maker. It's that time of the year where I rate every single anime I have seen throughout the year. If you don't see a specific anime that you're looking for, then I either accidentally didn't put it on this tier list, or I just didn't watch it. And this is in chronologically released order, so you can easily skip through and find a specific one you're looking for. So let's get started. Okay, so the first two actually came out last year, but I only watched them this year and I did want to talk about them. The first being Quintessential Quintuplets, the movie. So I'm a pretty big fan of the Quintessential Quintuplets. Kind of a mouthful to say, but it's a great show. Very wholesome harem anime, and one of the most popular in recent times in sort of the romance or like harem genre. And for good reason. This show absolutely slaps. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Maybe if you're not into romance, then don't watch it, but it's an amazing show. The movie, however, it was pretty good. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get into spoilers. This was the very last iteration of the Quintessential Quintuplets anime. It finally wrapped up, everyone got to see the conclusion, and everyone got to see who actually won. I think I will give the movie a solid A tier. This movie was just beautiful. Everything about it was amazing. Don't think it was an S tier. I'm trying really hard not to get into spoilers, but a lot of people weren't too happy about the winner. That's all I'll say. Now the second one also came out last year, which is Bocchi the Rock, and this show also slaps so hard. I can't believe I never actually heard about this until this year started, because it aired around October of last year, but I just didn't hear anything about it for some reason. But this is, I think, one of the greatest shows in the past few years, honestly. I remember watching the very first episode and knowing that there's never going to be a season 2 and just feeling super sad on the very first episode too. Now, this show is just so, first of all, goofy, chaotic, funny, and it's done by Cloverworks, which is one of the top studios out there, and they did some interesting stuff, which was all integrated like beautifully into the show. Like there was even this part where Bocchi turned into like a 3D model or something, and she got like flung into a wall in Blender. It was a weird ride. I actually haven't even finished the show though. I haven't watched episode 12, and I should probably get to doing that, but I just never got around to doing it. But I think this is a very obvious S tier. Now for our first one that came out this year, which is Tomo-chan is a Girl. I think this was a very solid anime. I don't think it was anything special, I don't think it was bad, and I don't think it was amazing. But it's just like one of the standard romance seasonal anime that no one really talks about after the season ends, or after the airing ends. But yeah, I did find it very cute, very fun, but there's not really too much to say about it, honestly. So I think I will give it a solid B tier. Next up we have Onimai. Don't remember the full title, but it's something like Onimai, I Am Now Your Sister. And for how the first episode started, this show was surprisingly wholesome. The synopsis is like loser otaku guy gets turned into a middle school girl by his like crazy scientist sister or something. And you might think that that is setting up for the most not really, like, you know what I mean, situations. But surprisingly, it was really wholesome. And actually, it was pretty funny at times too. And actually, like, most of the episodes weren't even like sexual at all. But I did enjoy the show. I think it'll also go into a B tier. Next up, we have Buddy Daddies. Now, I've never heard anyone talk about this show. I've only seen like a couple people say something about it on TikTok like one time. And then like no one ever has mentioned this show. Maybe this was just missed by the general public, at least in the West. But this show is actually really good. It was an original by, I can't remember the studio, but I think they did an amazing job. And by the way, with a name like Buddy Daddies, I'm surprised that they made it so non-gay. Because just minor spoiler, the two guys are not each other's daddy. But yeah, this was a really wholesome and cute show. It all wrapped up nicely in, I think it was 12 episodes. Can't remember if it was 1 core or 2 core, but it was a very solid show. I think it does deserve an A rating. It was just a nice, fun experience that was really wholesome, and it was just a really fun watch overall. But then to contrast that, we have our next one. I think the title of this was like My Life as Inukai's Dog. Now this started like a storm back when it came out. It's basically about this guy who gets turned into a dog, and then this girl like picks him up and like keeps him or whatever, and it just devolves from there. I did look a bit into the manga a while ago, and the art is actually really good, but they did not do it justice in the anime at all. Like, it's like, I get like animating is really hard and they like don't get paid and stuff. But the animation is just kind of atrocious. It's like they were just half asleep doing this. And compared to the manga, it's just absolute dog shit. No pun intended. It's just purely meant for fan service, nothing else. I'm sure the story in the manga is also the exact same, but the anime just made it 100 times worse. I think this is an actual F tier anime. Next up is Record of Ragnarok Season 2. This one was kind of a weird one because I think it only aired on Netflix, and people absolutely hated the first season. Personally, I actually really liked the first season and the second season too. People said it was like a slideshow and stuff, but personally, I didn't really see that. Maybe I was just like engrossed with like the story and the whole concept of it, because famous mythological gods fighting historical people is just such a cool concept. And I did think they did a decent job with season 2. Some of the parts were kind of dragged out, like the backstories took like a 1 or 2 episodes, but overall I think it was pretty good. I don't know whether I should put it in a B tier and A tier though. I think we'll keep it at a B tier just because I think there is better shows. Alright, next up is Attack on Titan, the final season, whatever, part 6000 Ultra Instinct, I don't know. They got really wacky with the naming nearing the end, but includes the special that aired, I think, around March, and then the recent one that came out in November, I think. And anyone who's seen Attack on Titan knows that this show is just an absolute masterpiece. I do want to talk about the ending a little. I'm not going to spoil anything, but the ending, honestly, to me, I think was perfect. Apparently they didn't really change it from the manga that much, and the people who read the manga back in the day just absolutely hated the ending for some reason. But I honestly thought it was like a perfect ending. If they had a fully happy sunshine and rainbows ending, I think that would have just been like a terrible ending. Because Attack on Titan as a whole show is a brutal and realistic depiction of what would happen if real people were in the situation that the characters were. So if it ended on like a happy note, then that would just go against everything that the series was made for and the story in itself. And just like, it wouldn't have made much sense. But yeah, enough rambling about that. Obviously, S tier. Quick thing before I move on to the next one is I want to move everything slightly. I'm going to put these two down here and these two in B. I think this is a much better rating because I did feel like Record of Ragnarok was better than these two, and I don't think Buddy Daddies was as good as the quintessential quintuplets movie. So I think this is a lot better rating of my opinion. But anyways, next, Heavenly Delusion. This show was actually, first of all, still to this day, I have no clue what it's about, but I absolutely love this show. They bounce back between like these like kids in a lab and then these other sort of not really kids, these other people that are like exploring an abandoned city. And but like a spoiler for how the season ends is that the kids like break out of the lab. It sets up for them exploring like the outside abandoned world, and we're probably going to see the two casts meet. But I thought that was an extremely interesting thing that they did, where I haven't really seen like two just completely uncontacted main casts in completely different situations. But yeah, I did think this was an amazing show, and I really can't wait for season 2. I think it'll have to go in A tier though, because you can't reach masterpieces like Bocchi the Rock and Attack on Titan. Next up is Hell's Paradise. Very solid show. It felt like the new generation of your My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, all that stuff. I didn't see too much hype around it after it ended though. Unlike Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, it doesn't really have a lasting fan base that I thought it would have. But yeah, it's a very, I wouldn't say standard battle shonen, because I do think it's a lot better than things like Jujutsu Kaisen, which I've made my opinions about, but I think it is a solid A tier. There's not really too many things that I would say bad about the show. Next up, oh god, what was this one called? Something like Meeting Yamada-kun at Level 999. The naming scheme is just awful, but the anime itself, I thought was honestly amazing. It's just a quick and simple love story about just these two people that play video games, and it just turned into like a very cute romantic story. Not really too much to say else about it. Although I did kind of find it weird how the guy is 17 and I think the girl's like 22, 23. So that's like a little suspicious, you know, but it's fiction and the story was cute, so I'm just gonna let that like push that under the rug. But yeah, overall, the characters, the story, just very solid. I don't know if I would put it in an A tier. I think a high B. I'm not gonna do like the thing where I like rearrange stuff, but you know, the high B is good for Yamada-kun at level 999 or whatever. Next up, My Home Hero. This was actually one that I thought I was going to drop, but when I gave it a chance, it actually blew out my expectations because, first of all, the animation was pretty bad, but the story was just incredible. I don't know how popular this one is because I've literally never heard anyone talk about it, but it's just about this guy or this dad who like finds out his daughter is dating a Yakuza or a gang member, and then he kills the guy and tries to hide it up while like the gang goes after him and stuff. I know that's a terrible explanation, but it's very intricate, it's very well written, and the animation absolutely does not do it justice. I think that's another solid B tier. Okay, I think this one was called Alice Gear Expansion, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm sorry to anyone who likes this show, if you exist out there, but I could not get past the first episode. I watched about half of the first episode, and I was just insanely bored. Like, I would rather be doing college SATs than watch the show, honestly. So that's another F tier. Next up is the Megumin spin-off from Konosuba. I don't remember what this one's called, but it's a spin-off of Konosuba, following Megumin before she joined Kazuma's whole group and stuff. And Konosuba being one of my favorite anime ever. First of all, the animation wasn't as good as Konosuba usually is. And second of all, it was really entertaining at parts, and then it's just completely boring at other parts. I don't know, kind of made me kind of sad because I was really looking forward to this one, and I actually never ended up finishing it. I think it is a solid C tier. Not bad, not good. I don't think it's bad, but it's not a must-watch for a Konosuba fan, honestly. Unless you're like a really, really big fan. Next up is this one. It's something like something Crisis. I only watched the first episode of this, and honestly, I don't remember too much. So I'm going to create a new tier and put it in here, because I honestly don't remember anything about it. Alright, next one is... God, what is the name of this one? Something Goddess Terrace something. I actually quite like this one. It started off as like your standard ecchi harem anime, but I think it was pretty well done. It kind of felt like it was heavily inspired by the quintessential quintuplets. A lot of the character traits and sort of like some aspects of the designs were really similar. I don't know if that's an actual true fact, but it did feel like it a lot. But regardless, I still liked it, but it wouldn't be on my like top 15 recommended anime list. So let's put it in the C tier. Another one that I don't have too much of an opinion on because I watched the first episode and dropped it, so we're gonna put it in here. And again, this one I watched a few more episodes. It's kind of like an elementary school romance, which I thought it was kind of cute, but I dropped it like 3 or 4 episodes in, so I don't have too much to say about it. Next one is Demon Slayer Season 3. Now, this is gonna be a shit show. No, okay. My opinion's not that bad on it, but so back when Demon Slayer started, or when I first watched it, loved the show. Really liked the second season too. Movie was awesome. But this one just didn't hit as hard. And I think that's because I didn't really like Tanjiro to begin with, but in this season, he's just pisses me off, honestly. I really just dislike Tanjiro. He's one of my least favorite anime characters and protagonists of all time. I do have a number 1 least favorite that I'm going to get to. Tanjiro, I feel like he's way too nice and like way too obliging to things. It's like he's in a serious situation. He's like, "Yes, I'll do this for you," or whatever. Like, it's just extremely annoying at times. But it's Demon Slayer, very solid story. Nothing to say bad about the story, but I just can't stand Tanjiro as a character. Like, I would probably like it more if he was just like one of those total pervert characters, instead of just like this thing where he's way too nice. And it could also be in like a serious situation, and he would just turn it like comedic at the worst times, which really threw me off. And yeah, I just don't like him as a character. But every other character is fine, even Zenitsu. Zenitsu's like one of the most hated popular anime characters out there, but I like him 100 times more than Tanjiro. So we're gonna put Demon Slayer just for that in the C tier. Another one, I was actually looking forward to like seeing the direction this one went, but never wanted to watch it again because honestly it was pretty boring. Don't even know what it's called. Next one, Dead Mount Death Play. Another one that I watched a few episodes of that I just dropped because I don't have time to watch all, like, completely 100% complete all of these anime, obviously. But I think I do have an opinion on this one, and it's just not that great, honestly. It was written by the same people who wrote Another Big Story, but I just thought that it was Alright, now this one is called Insomniacs at something. Man, I'm not very good at remembering these names, but this is just a romance about two insomniacs, and I actually loved it. Although I didn't finish it, I think I got slightly like halfway through, and I actually just really liked the show. But I don't know why I never finished it. I still want to go back and finish it. But this is just a nice, comfy, relaxed, lo-fi-ish show. When I first saw like the poster and the synopsis of this, I thought it was gonna be like Call of the Night, which is another one of my favorite anime. But it's not really like that, but it does give off like the same lo-fi vibes. So for that, I'm gonna put that in the B tier. Okay, this one is huge. Oshinoko, one of the most hyped up anime probably ever, to be honest. And for good reason. Originally, I watched this like Giguk video about the manga a while ago, but the manga never got like a official English translation, so I just never read it, but I really wanted to. But the anime is just amazing. Back in like June or July when this came out, you could not go anywhere without hearing the opening. Idol by Yoasobi is one of their top songs, and Yoasobi, in my opinion, has never made a bad song. So that being like one of their top songs, and I think it's their most viewed on YouTube too. And it even like topped the worldwide Billboard something charts, which is just insane for an anime song. But back to the actual show. There's a reason that the first episode was 90 minutes long. It was only 11 episodes, but the first episode was like 5 episodes worth, so it's not too big of a deal. And I don't want to spoil anything, actually. But we'll just say that this is an S tier show, and definitely a must watch. Okay, this is Pokemon Horizons. Obviously, I didn't watch the whole thing. I think it's still airing right now. I saw like 1 or 2 episodes, and I thought it was good. Pokemon, I've always enjoyed the anime, even as like a little 5-year-old watching the old ones. And I think this does continue the Pokemon anime legacy very well. Because if you don't know, they retired Ash. Ash is gone. Don't know what happened to him, but we got a new cast of characters, and the main character is actually a girl this time. But yeah, Pokemon always is a solid show, but I didn't see too much of it, so we're gonna put it in no opinions for now. I might go back and watch a little, but I never have time these days, so maybe not. Okay, Horimiya Peace. Now, personally, I love Horimiya. People hated on the anime because it cut out a bunch of stuff from the manga, and Horimiya Piece was kind of like the pieces that were missing, which is, I guess, why it's called that. And this is great. Horimiya, amazing rom-com. And kind of sad that it's not a season 2, and instead it's just like missing parts of the manga that never got adapted, but still amazing. Honestly, I think I do have to give it an A tier. Next up is Altelia Ryza, the animation, I think, something like that. I've never played the games or anything, and going into it completely blind was not too bad, because it was just a completely original story, I think, that you don't really have to play the games or anything else to actually like understand. And I thought it was nice. It was pretty chill and wholesome anime, and I did like it, but I did drop it like halfway through. But I do think it is a very solid anime. This next one is Ayaka. This anime I think was pretty bad, honestly. I mean, not really necessarily bad, but just pretty boring. No one's ever talked about it, and there's probably a reason for that. But I don't think it's an F tier. Oh man, okay. This next one, Genshitsu no Yohane, Sunshine in the Mirror. As you know from my video on Love Live, I absolutely love Love Live. And this did not disappoint. I don't think it was great by all means, but if you like Love Live, especially as much as I do, it's definitely a must watch. It's nothing groundbreaking, it's nothing innovative, it's just the characters you know and love in kind of like an alternate universe. Originally this was like a April Fool's joke, but they made it into an actual thing, and now there's like 2 games based off it too, so they're making like a whole sub-franchise of this. And the characters are actually like slightly different from how they usually are. Like not just in looks, because the art style is completely different too, but like their whole persona is different, and it's sort of like an alternate universe, multiverse kind of thing. But I just really like Love Live in general, so I don't think it deserves an A though. We'll put it in B. It hurts me to put it not like as high as some of the other things, but I think that's a fair solid rating. Next up is Mushoku Tensei. This is like the 0th episode and the season 2. I'm gonna be honest, I was really excited for this and I never finished it. I don't know, I just never had like the drive to finish watching it. We can put the 0th episode in the no opinion, so I can just like have this as a whole to represent it all. But from like the 4, 5, or 6 something episodes that I did watch, it was kind of boring. Nothing really happened too much. So I am gonna put it in a C. I'll probably change my opinion once I finish the season, which I'm definitely gonna go back and do. But for now, like the first half of the season has not really appealed to me. Next one. This was called like One Room with a Level 1 Hero or something. This is just a pure comedy, doesn't take itself serious anime. And I love that for like the first 4 or 5 episodes that it did that. But nearing the end of the season, it just got insanely like complicated and like political. Not like obviously real life politics, but like they started having their own countries and stuff, and it focused more on that rather than the comedy, which I don't know, kind of threw me off. I would have definitely preferred if it stayed just pure comedy and like slice of lifey how it started. But I think it was a decent show. I think it would have been in the B tier if it stayed how it started. Oh boy, next one. I mentioned earlier how I have a least favorite character of all time, and that is the main character of this show. The girl that I like forgot her glasses. I'm just gonna go out and say it right now. This is my least favorite anime of all time. I was actually originally gonna make a full video on this, but I never did. But we get to talk about it here today. This show is just, it actually gets on my nerves. It actually just makes me like unhappy. The main character is, first of all, he's in middle school, and the basic plot is that this girl, supposed to be like his crush or something, forgets her glasses one day, and he like helps her, shares his textbook and stuff. But every time they like make physical contact or like she looks at him or anything, he actually just starts ejaculating in his pants. It's honestly horrible how this guy reacts to anything. And this goes on for all the episodes that I watched. I was originally gonna like watch at least like 5 something episodes, but I just couldn't take it. It was just self-torture at that point. And the animation, by the way, is gorgeous. You've probably seen that shot where it's like this guy's walking up the stairs. I think it is that main character where they're walking up the stairs and the camera goes around. It's insane. But that doesn't cushion the absolute hate I have for this anime. There's even this one point where he starts like cumming himself from tying her shoes. It was just an absolute train wreck. If the train caught on fire and then an intergalactic missile hit the fucking train. Like, I don't know who likes this stuff. Like, at least with Rent-A-Girlfriend, which is coming up soon, Kazuma, the main character, is a no-life degenerate loser. But the show is written in a way where, first of all, he's self-aware, the show's self-aware, and it's funny. But in this one, nothing is self-aware, and that's just the character himself. And it sucks too, because the main character, or the main girl, is pretty cute, but the writer just makes her play into, like, this guy's fantasies and stuff, and I don't know, the writer had to have like a fetish for something. I honestly could not stand this anime at all. But yeah, that's obviously going in the F tier. If there was a lower tier, I would put it there. It's the worst anime I've ever seen. Now, enough of that rant. We have our next one, which I'm going to put in no opinion because it's just your typical isekai. It's not really that special. Speaking of typical isekai, which is not what this is, because this guy gets turned into a vending machine, which, you know, I love to watch. I mean, I wouldn't say love, but I enjoy watching trash seasonal isekai, and that's what this is. Trash isekai are just entertaining, and usually not good, but I did enjoy this one. It was pretty standard most of the time, not really special. It had one, like, gag, and that's it, which I did mention in, like, one of my other videos, where seasonal isekai nowadays are just basically the same formula, the same show in general, but just with like a twist on it, with this one obviously being that the main character is a vending machine. But yeah, I did quite enjoy this one, but it's nothing special, and I don't recommend it at all. Oh boy, the next one, My Happy Marriage. I'm just gonna say it. This is an amazing show. I loved like the first 8 to 10 episodes. It was just like a well-written, nice romance anime. But nearing the end, it was a little shaky, I guess you could call it, because they started getting into like superpowers and stuff, which they did integrate fine into the show, but I do feel like the strongest part of the show was the romance and just like the slice of lifiness. But yeah, this definitely deserves an A tier. Next one is Undead Girl Murder Farce. So this one is kind of like a detective mystery show, which honestly, I found it sort of boring, but it is a very dialogue heavy show. And I watch all my anime like in the middle of the night, like 3 a.m. kind of stuff. So I did not have the brain capacity to understand everything that they were talking about and think about it myself. So that's why I do want to put it in no opinion, even though I did watch a good chunk of it. Oh boy, Rent-A-Girlfriend. Say all you want about Rent-A-Girlfriend, but I love this show. It's just like, going back to the train wreck analogy, if there's a train wreck, but the train wreck was made out of like gingerbread cookies and it tasted really good. Like it's that kind of thing where it's so bad that it's good. And by the way, the animation is always super good, so that definitely helps with it. Obviously, there's one show that good animation can't help, but Rent a Girlfriend, just insanely insane and just a chaotic mess that's extremely fun to watch, and it doesn't take itself seriously like a certain anime, but I think it's just a fun watch, so we'll put it around B tier probably. Next one, this one is Liar Liar. I think I saw 1 or 2 episodes and dropped it. It's kind of like No Game No Life and Tomodachi Game put together, which is 2 anime I really like, but I just felt like it wasn't as good as those 2, which is why I'm gonna put it, I don't know why I put it in no opinion, but I'm going to put it in a D tier probably. Next up is Tenpuru. This was, I think, an ecchi series, but again, just like this anime, it's pretty wholesome, very cute. I never finished it, but it's a fun watch from what I have seen. I think I watched around like half of the show, but it's just nice, solid, I guess, rom-com harem with a bit of ecchi, which is nice. Oh, Zom 100. I'm just gonna say that this show's amazing. Very fun characters, very fun concept, done incredibly well, very good animation. The only thing about it is that it's still on hiatus after like 4 months. I don't know what happened, but I think it's stuck at like 8 episodes. Don't know what's going on. But yeah, it's not over yet, but I am caught up. I like almost want to put it in an S tier, but I don't think it's as good as these 3. So we'll keep it in A tier, but I think it's a high A tier for me. Okay, Dark Gathering. I feel like this show wanted to do like full horror, and I think they did achieve that to some extent. But I don't know. I can't even remember how much of it I watched. It was probably like 2 or 3 episodes, maybe 4. I don't think it's bad at all. I do see the appeal of it, but I also don't think it's a C tier. Let's put it here for now. I'd say it's like a high D tier. Okay, so this one also something I watched 1 episode of and don't remember anything about it. I remember like small specks of the first episode, but that's basically it, so that's going in the no opinion. Next one, Link Click Season 2. This one is not an anime, but basically almost treated like an anime. It's on my anime list. It's on Crunchyroll. It's watched by anime fans in the West. And Link Click is just an absolute masterpiece in itself. Amazing writing. I don't know how they managed to like make such a complicated... It's hard to go into season 2 without spoiling it, but I definitely recommend you watch Link Click. It gets very drama heavy, which I think they did amazingly. It's one of the few shows where I watched it for the synopsis and it took like a completely different route in the end, and I still loved the show, which is not very often for me personally. But yeah, this is going in an S tier. Definitely watch Link Click. This one, I watched 1 episode of this and I think I fell asleep halfway through too. I used this as like the thumbnail of my fall 2023 anime look through, and it's very suspicious. The guy's like 26, the girl's like 15, but I have no opinions on this because I watched like half an episode. So now we're at this season with the start of this one, and I just want to preface before I go any further, I'm not that far into the anime for this season. I'm recording this at the start of December, so most of these I've seen about 2 to 4 episodes of, so my opinions will most likely change. But moving on, we have Free Run, Beyond the Journey's End, I think. So everyone's been hyping this up. It's currently rated number 1 on Mao, which is crazy, and I think I'm 3 episodes in. Personally, I don't see the appeal. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep watching it though. I'm not gonna drop it, but I just thought it was kind of standard, honestly. But I'm really hoping it gets more entertaining, because it has to be number 1 on Mal for a reason. But 3 episodes in, it's not really capturing me as much as other shows do. But I have high hopes that this will be a 10 out of 10 anime. But for now, we're gonna put it in the B tier, because I'm still enjoying it, just not as much as everyone else apparently. Next up, I'm in Love with the Villainess. This is a very cute show. I'm enjoying this show. It's just this girl, the protagonist, annoying the hell out of this really mean girl with like her simping, I guess, or like her love towards her, and it's pretty fun. Don't see myself dropping it anytime soon, so that's a good sign. But I think this does go in a C, because definitely not as good as these ones over here. Okay, Miggy and Dolly. First of all, I thought it was gonna be like a horror anime, but it's more like a, how do you explain it? Mystery kind of, not really mystery, but comedy. It's really hard to explain, but I'm really enjoying this one. The best word to describe it is just weird. I think you would definitely have to watch it yourself, but I'm actually really enjoying it. I think this is the one I've gone the farthest. I think I've watched like 4 episodes of it so far, and I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a B tier so far. Next up is Shy. I don't know about this one. I think I'm 2 episodes in, but for now I don't have opinions. I'll probably include the ones I don't have opinions on yet in next year's video, just so you can know my opinions eventually. But for now, don't have opinions for it. Same with this one. This one is just like a standard isekai kind of thing. Sort of an isekai, but not really. But it's pretty standard, honestly. Nothing special. Definitely recommend you not to watch it, because there's just nothing about it that is great, honestly. So I think it's a D tier. Next is Undead Unluck. Again, it's too early to tell how I feel about this. I think I'm 2 episodes in, and I don't have opinions on it yet. It does look pretty fun though, from what I have seen. At the end of the 2nd episode, they're setting off to an adventure, which I'm excited to see. Okay, Protocol Rain. This one is like the most zoomer anime of all time. It's about like a net cafe and esports, and the main game they play is just like a Valorant copy, or like their own version of Valorant, which is pretty funny. But I actually do like it a lot. Maybe it's because I'm a zoomer and I relate to this kind of stuff. But I think it's pretty fun. I think I'm about 4 episodes in, and I don't know if I should put it in a B. We'll put it at a C for now, because I don't think it's as good as these ones up here. Now we have the 100 girlfriends that really love me. Don't know how many reallys there are, but there's a lot of them. This is another case like Rent a Girlfriend, where it's just goofy, rom-com, stupid, not taking itself seriously, and I think that's great. I'm really enjoying it so far. The main tsundere girl kind of pisses me off because she's very standard tsundere and kind of just slightly annoying, but I'm still enjoying the show regardless. I think it is a B tier. Next one is Tear Moon Empire. This is the only one where it has a horizontal picture, like even on Mal. Like the image for it is just like a completely different aspect ratio, but again, currently 2 episodes in, 2 or 3 episodes in actually. Have no opinions on it so far. And we've finally reached the last one, the Apothecary Diaries. Still can't pronounce that word. I don't think I'm pronouncing it right, at least. But I'm really enjoying this. It's about ancient Chinese, just like medicine and like royalty and that kind of stuff. Again, hard to explain, but I'm really enjoying it so far, even though I'm only 2 or 3 episodes in. It might be too early to give it a B, but I really like this actually. So, B tier. And we've reached the end. You can tell my voice is dying out because it's getting all raspy. But I've been recording for over an hour, and here's the final list. I appreciate you for coming and watching. I guess I gotta say this now. Please like and subscribe. Feels so weird to say. But yeah, thanks for watching.